I work these days a lot with politicians and political advisors in Eastern Europe, in post-Soviet countries of Eastern Europe. And that's been an interesting challenge for me because in the past I used to do work with young people, with youth activists. I used to do training for civil society activists, for NGOs. And so the challenge is, how does one translate peace education methodologies to working with people who clearly feel that they're already very well educated and fully prepared for their tasks at hand. And obviously these people aren't in politics because they're not experienced. They do have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge and information, but sometimes they end up in situations where they're faced with the challenges of conflict, of violent conflict, that they're not necessarily prepared for because they haven't, their countries haven't lived through those challenges in the recent past. So we've been working together with a great team on creating what we call peer exchange opportunities to learn from other contexts, from other peace processes and other conflict resolution processes, and to be able to apply the lessons that others have identified, the mistakes that others have made and the successes that others have had, to the situations in post-Soviet Eastern Europe. We've drawn on the example of Colombia, we've drawn on the example of Northern Ireland, and many others, Cyprus as well, to try and understand how does one not reinvent the wheel when faced with the challenge of violent conflict? How does one identify those pieces in a patchwork quilt that could be useful for the context that they're working in? How do these politicians learn from other politicians, from other negotiators, from people who've been through something similar, although it's never the same. There are never models as such, but there are similarities and there are lessons that can be learned. And we've been trying to set up that human connection through telling stories, through sharing those personal experiences between very high-level people, between people who normally we think of them as institutions, but we've been trying to connect them as human beings.